Today on the table, we're continuing our vest pocket series. So if you remember, a couple weeks ago we went over the FN, but today we're going to go over the Colt Model 1908 vest pocket. So it is a compact, hammerless, striker-fired, semi-automatic pistol. Again, it was made by Colt, designed by John Browning. It is in 25 ACP. They made these from 1908 to 1948, and it was marketed by Colt as a small concealable firearm, which, you know, obviously could be easily tucked into a vest pocket. So you can imagine like guys going to the opera with their wives back in the early 1900s prior to World War I, and obviously even through, that they would keep these tucked easily into a vest pocket of those fancy coats that they were wearing. So, you know, and I love collecting all the different variations because a lot of companies made these back in the day, but Colt and really FN were, you know, the first ones to do this. So this is actually internally with Colt, it's considered the Model N, is what they call it. So it is only 4.5 inches long, and it has just a tiny little 2.5-inch barrel. It weighs a whopping 13 ounces. And then again, like I think I mentioned before, it's a 6-round 25 ACP mag. So I'll show you here. We can just use this one here. And you can see the ones that I have here have the original mag, so they actually say Colt 25 on them right there. Well, it says caliber 25, then Colt. And it has the old school mag release where you have to slide it over. These come out really easily in this again. And you know, for a lot of the 1911 guys like myself, you see those two-tone mags, they're really cool. There's a two-tone mag for you right there. But, you know, it's a tiny little round, but this only holds 6 rounds. And then I guess we could show you too, none of these are loaded, but we can look. If I can pull it back here, you can see right there, it is not loaded. So, there we go. So, a couple things is, again, they have basically just a fixed iron sight just all the way down the front. There isn't really much to it. It's really just point and shoot. You know, you're not going to shoot anything at long range. You know, there was some advertising literature that they had back in the day about the safety features of these, because again, if you look at it, there's a safety here and a safety here. There's actually an additional safety as well. So what happened is that it's like around 1916 or so, there's a guy named George Tansley, and he invented a third safety feature for the pistol. And what it was is there was a magazine safety disconnector, which prevented accidental firing when the magazine was removed. So this additional safety thing was, they did it in like 1916 or 1917 is when they added those production models. So if you look at them with serial numbers 139,000 and up, that is when it was added. So this one would obviously have that, because this one's serial number is 315,000. This one, let's see what the serial number is on this one. This one is actually only 28,000. So this one is much, much earlier than this one is. And they actually changed, which you can actually see here on, which works out perfectly that I have both. But if you look here, so what they did was they actually changed the roll mark. So based on when the technology was designed. So what happened is that when you would buy this one, it would just come with its regular paperwork and such. But then every model 1908, like this one, sold after 1916 or 1917, would come with a green brochure. And actually, and I should probably find one, I bet I could find one online, but it would come with a green brochure that actually hyped up or showed more of the safety features that this one has that will not fire without the mag functioning in it. So that's kind of a cool thing. So, but what they did was they actually changed the patent date for the disconnector. It's called the Tansley device. But you can see here, if you look at the guns themselves, so this one says Colt PTFA, manufactured company Hartford, Connecticut, USA. Let me see if we can get that in there. There we go. And then it says the patent date was August 25th, 1896, and then April 20th, 1897, and then December 22nd, 1903, then January 25th, 1910. Now, if we look at this one, though, there's an additional patent date. Let me see if I can get it in the picture. And it's right here at the end where it says July 31st of 1917, because this one has that extra mechanism in it. So that's just pretty cool, you know, to have both of those as well. So they came in quite a few different models. So like if you can see or I'm sorry, they came in different variations of finishes with grips. So both of these have the more square or rectangular grips on them. There was another, and again, these have their original plastic, you know, Bakelite grips on them. But there was one, and we'll go over this one in the next series, but there was a Colt grip that was round on the top like this. So you can also find these vest pockets with the round grips on the top as well. Now they came in, obviously this really cool blue. This one's a little bit older and a little bit more worn than this one. But this one, as you can see here, so this has their Colt, they both do, their Colt Carvana blue finish on them, or known as the charcoal bluing. And they just made such a cool blue back then as well too. And then they had case hardened triggers. So you kind of see that it's a little, this one's a little bit better. You can see the case hardening on it, just a little bit. This one's pretty worn down, so it's harder to see on there as well. But then they came in a few different options. So there was a nickel plate option. I'm trying to think of any other ones that they had besides the nickel plate and then just standard blue. Oh, and then of course you could get a blue with engraving. So that would be really cool to find one that was engraved. And then they had different types of grips as well. Actually, I think there was even a gold and a silver plate finish as well. That'd be really probably tough to find, a gold-plated or silver-plated engraved one. But then they had these, you know, these hard black rubber grips. And then there was also walnut ones. You saw walnut in the later models, so like somewhere in the 20s or like 1924, 1926. You would get the walnut ones with the gold medallion, but they only had these black rubber ones up until then. And then there was an ivory one as well. You could get an ivory grip, which, you know, when it was available, those were also allowed. And then there was a mother of pearl. So, no, it's just super cool. They made 420 some thousand of them in the, however long that is, was it 1908 to 1948. So in the 40 years that they made these, they made 420,000 of them, so you can find them. They've gone up considerable in price. These have almost doubled in price from what I paid for them, and I've had these for quite a while now, but you might be able to find one at a fairly reasonable price. If you need help with that or anything like that, you know, just let me know in the comments, and you know, I can help you look if you're collecting them, or if you're looking for one, or if you found one and you're just considering it, you know, let me know. But again, if you have any questions, thanks for watching.